So apparently, what is being expressed is very, very simple. This is simply unthinkable. Since it is already what is, and there is nothing that's needed. Any attempt or any position is just another illusion. An illusory idea will only create more illusory ideas. Seemingly, this is the most fascinating subject, but it's not even a subject. It's not knowledge, it's not wisdom, it's not something that can be remembered or passed on to apparent others. It's not about the words even, it's not about concepts or no concepts. Anything that I can say or will say or what apparent others say is just this. Though what is being suggested does not seem to point to the illusion, it's just basically an expression that simply this is unthinkable. There's nothing to get here. There's nothing to know here. There's nothing to process here. Simply there's nothing to know. And there's no one that knows here. So this is a pointless meeting about the obviousness of what is that does not require any thinking. But seemingly, there is this seeming me that once seemingly has this idea that there's an end to this. It wants to think its way out, but there's no thinking out of this. Simply, this is unthinkable. Simply, this is not two. Simply, it's indivisible. It's incomprehensible. And there's nothing to get because it already is glaringly obvious, but not for you. Because there's no you, although there seems to be an appearance of you. There's this illusion of a conclusion or wanting something to end. When will I get this? When will this end? When will this seeking end? Trying to grasp the unthinkable. This is difficult to get if the apparent character is coming from a separate perspective because it lives in the next. It chases the next. Even if it's waiting to get the unthinkable. Simply it can't. And this is not trying to put any barriers. It's actually trying to express this openness that what is already this. Without thinking about it, without any grasping, it's already always this. And simply there's no end or beginning. So there's no ending to this. So there are no words, no thoughts, no concepts that ever got this. An idea includes a beginning or an end. There's only timelessness, and the beginning never happened and the ending will never come. Simply there's no me doing it. There's no me or no me, since it's a totally illusory construct. So anything that the me comes up with is a total construct. And that's the hooray, because there's nothing that is constructed really, it's just this. Simply this is everything and nothing. And that is unthinkable. It cannot be processed, it short fuses because it can't be grasped. So this is not somewhere else. This is not some hidden knowledge or hidden idea that will pop up somewhere, because this is not somewhere or nowhere. This is simply already what is. So what is being expressed here is the that relief, that sigh of relief that there is nothing to get. That clarity that cannot really be expressed in words. That this freedom cannot be held onto. That this peace cannot be known. That this love cannot be owned. Because simply there's no beginning or ending to this. To get, to know, to understand, to grasp, just this inexplicableness. Some might call it energy, whatever. It cannot be known. It's just this. And there's nothing in this. I was talking again to a couple of friends about what I talk about. The word is getting around. What do you talk about? I'm like, I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm talking about. And no one really knows what they're talking about. Why talk about it then? Because there's no one choosing to do any of this. There's no free will or choice. It just seemingly happens all on its own, but it's not even happening at the same time. And it cannot be thought about as something that is happening, because what is being expressed here and presented is the obviousness that simply there's no division already. It's just simply this. There's no separation already. So something that was never separated, something that never was divided, does not need to be put in whole, because this is already wholeness. But even that is saying way too much. Anything that I say is way too much, because this is just really silence, but being misinterpreted as not silence. Although there's no such thing as silence, because that's just another idea. That's just another concept. And then someone will say, well, is it really nothing? Well, that not even nothing, because that's just another word to try to capture what is empty and full simultaneously and cannot be put into an idea. So what is it then? It's just a whole bunch of I don't knows, because there's no I that knows anything here. But there seemingly is this openness, this radiant emptiness that wants to express that this is all that there is, and there's nothing as well. But it doesn't even have an audience. It does not even need to convince anyone, because there's no one to convince. So this is an empty talk about the unspeakable, but there seemingly is a joy here, a gladness that there's nothing to get. There's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to know. There's no ending, because nothing ever began. And simply this immediacy, this directness, that this is just speaking to this. But there's no even another this. So this is just all this. This is simply unthinkable. And trying to capture something is quite a delight. It's also really absurd. That's why I laugh a lot in speaking about this, because there's simply no one that will get this, because it's already obviously unthinkable. And that's the most amazing part of it, is that there's nothing that needs to be thought. There's nothing that needs to be understood or processed. So this is the unprocessed, raw. I can't even call it any word anymore. If you have any questions, if you want to chat, please go ahead, or just laugh at the absurdity of this. And thank you so much for joining. Although nothing will be offered,